There was a massive primetime game last night where Lamar Jackson might have won his third MVP already, and Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals might be out of the playoff hunt. But the biggest story is what's going on with the NFL officiating. Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Woodman of the Kevin Woodman Show. This is episode 3. If you guys like what you see, please make sure to be a subscriber. Other than that, let's go and get right into the video. If you guys didn't watch the game, it was a terrific game, just like their first contest a couple weeks ago, where the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens were going blow for blow all the way to the final seconds. And for whatever reason, the Bengals decided to go for 2 when they tied the game with about 38 seconds left. Now, we can talk about that decision, as I don't really think that was the best decision by their head coach to put their entire season on the line when there was still 38 seconds left and Lamar Jackson had 2 timeouts. And Lamar Jackson, by the way, was playing absolutely lights out in the second half. I think he had 3 touchdown passes and almost like 300 yards by himself as he completely flipped the script in the second half. So I can understand wanting to be aggressive and needing to win that game because the Bengals needed to win that game. They needed to win that game to keep their playoff hopes alive. I want to go over this game real quick, though. As the game was winding down, and the Bengals scored to potentially tie the game, their coach decided to go for 2, which I can understand in a different situation. There was still 38 seconds left on the clock. 38 seconds and 2 timeouts left on the clock. And the way Lamar was playing in the second half, it was almost guaranteed that he's going to drive down the field with that time. So going for 2 wasn't necessarily going for the win. The announcers even said that. Going for 2, all that was really going to do, if they made it, was put them ahead temporarily, and then Lamar probably would have been able to get them in field goal range because Justin Tucker has one of the biggest legs in the entire league, and he was kicking at home. But all that's null and void because they missed the 2-point conversion. And the big story is the multiple penalties on that play that wasn't called. One of which they said could have been a potential holding or PI on the receiver. And another one was the fact that Joe Burrow got hit in the face mask by a defensive player, which is typically in the NFL now a roughing call, where you can't hit the quarterback anywhere on the face, on the helmet, anywhere. That's a penalty. So those are 2 calls that you could say the referees blew. Me personally, I feel like I actually like the fact that the refs swallow the whistle. You should swallow the whistle in these situations. Let the players play. Let the players win the game unless it's egregious. But the face mask penalty over him hitting Joe Burrow, the ball was already out of his hand. So that had no effect on the play. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like if that was Patrick Mahomes, he would have been signaling to the refs and they would have threw a flag right away and helped him win the game. I mean, it's not really, stop me if you heard this before, but it's going around. I mean, everybody seems to know, except for Chiefs fans, that the Chiefs get all the calls, Mahomes get all the calls. And I guarantee you, if Mahomes was the guy on the ground having just got, lightly brushed across the face after the ball was already out of his hand and the play was already over, they would have threw a penalty because he would have called for it. We've all seen that, where he goes right to the refs because he gets all the star calls. Joe Burrow, even though he is a star, doesn't really seem to get those calls. Lamar Jackson doesn't really seem to get those calls. No other quarterback in the league right now gets the same love from the refs that Patrick Mahomes does. The only quarterback that I could think that ever did was Tom Brady, who also could just shout out to the refs, "Hey, we need a flag here." You know what I'm saying? This isn't going according to plan. We need a flag. And there's a similarity there because these are 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and they're also 2 of the faces of the league. Now, you may wonder, why a league would prefer a specific player. I think it's just written in the stars. You can guarantee that Patrick Mahomes is going to be in Super Bowl number 3 this year, and it's just based off of ratings. It's one thing to sell a game based off of best. You know what I mean? Like Patrick Mahomes right now is clearly one of the best players in the league, one of the best quarterbacks ever. But they don't want to sell him as that. They want to sell him as the GOAT. You know what I mean? They want to sell him as the best ever because that just sells better. It's just a better, if you're going to go to the grocery store and buy a product and you see on the store, this is the best, laundry detergent right now. And then you got one next to it that said, this is the best ever. Which one are you going to go with? You're going to go with the one that says best ever. It creates a sense of urgency once again for people that aren't necessarily paying attention. Like, hey, you're missing one of the best players ever right now, right? You got to watch this game. But at the same time, it's just so blatant and obvious. And it was the same thing with Tom Brady. I remember there was a game where it was against the New York Jets where the tight end caught the ball. I don't remember his name, but he fumbled the ball. I'll try to put a clip on like I typically do. But he caught the ball. I think he reached for the pylon, and it was a touchdown, but somehow they called it a fumble, and they gave the ball to the Patriots. It was like a ridiculous call.
Looked at the replay. They've determined that Safarian Jenkins lost control of the football, and they're ruling it a fumble through the back of the end zone. I'm just trying to fully understand the call.
And that was the same year that the Eagles and the Patriots played. And I think it was a lot of public pressure that basically people were like so sick and tired of seeing the Patriots get all these ridiculous calls.
To the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Pittsburgh! Jesse James! I don't know why this is taking so long to review it, because clearly Harmon's nowhere close to him.
After reviewing the play, the receiver in the end zone did not survive the ground. It's an incomplete pass.
Oh, my goodness.
To the point where I was shocked that the Eagles got a fair game, a fairly called game. There was two reviews in the Eagles Super Bowl that I was assured if they wanted to screw us, they could have. One was the Zach Ertz touchdown that ultimately won the game, because the way that they were calling touchdowns at that point, or catches, nobody knew what a catch was.
And again, all you can think back to now is the Jesse James play with Pittsburgh. Does he complete the process?
Same thing with the touchdown to the running back, Corey Clement. He caught it at the back of the end zone. If they wanted to call that, they reviewed that for a very long time. If they wanted to say he didn't have possession, they could have did that. There was numerous attempts where they could have screwed the Eagles there and gave it to their boy Tom Brady, and they didn't. But like I said, I think it was all the calls where NFL fans were like just getting tired of seeing all these Tom Brady Patriots calls go their way, to the point where it was helping that dynasty so much that I think that it really forced the NFL to like, look, you got to call some games fair here, because people are getting fed up with it. And I think that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs is reaching that same level.
Incomplete. Juju Smith-Schuster couldn't catch up. There's a flag at the 10. Hang on, there's a penalty.
He's got his left hand on his back. I don't know. Mike, listen, I think on this stage, I think you let him play. See James Bradbury, to me, it looks like he's in good position.
I know that when I gamble the games, I like to bet on these games on DraftKings. I'm always leaning towards the Chiefs, because like I know that if they're not doing very well, the Chiefs, the 12th man will help them, aka the refs. So it's by design. It's not like this is just a mistake and it's just poor officiating, because we see it all around the league. You're seeing horribly officiated games all around the league. I just can't help but notice that the only ones that are consistently officiated, which you would consider appropriately, would be the Chiefs games. And it's really based off of the fact that they just really want to make sure that they get back to the Super Bowl, because like I said, third straight Super Bowl. Can you imagine the ratings? I really feel like it's going to be Chiefs Lions is probably the most likely Super Bowl. Although Chiefs Eagles would be a very good rematch, because obviously the last one was such a great performance by both teams, so that wouldn't surprise me either. But I think that's probably your two most likely Super Bowl potential outcomes. And it's just, I feel like the Lions would just be a ratings bonanza, because I feel like everybody would be rooting for the Lions based on the fact that they never won anything. They just really haven't been that, I think a lot of people would, number one, be rooting against the Chiefs, because like I said, the way the NFL is calling games, they're creating a lot of enemies. And the Chiefs are a really likable team. I mean, Andy Reid's likable, Travis Kelce's likable. Obviously, you got the Taylor Swift thing. There's so many likable things about the Chiefs, but the fact that the NFL is so clearly pushing them is just making a lot of people hate them. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure to be a subscriber. I'll have my last video popping up on screen as I went over the trade deadline. The Ravens were in there too, so if you click on this because you're a Ravens fan, they definitely made some moves there if you're unaware of them, so just click links. And that's it. Until next time, thanks for watching.